So if any of you got any questions for me about anything, I'm here to answer.
Where can we buy Riot music?
It's available on Amazon or from my glamorous assistant over here.
That was a great question.
Yes?
Do you get any inspiration from people like Linton Kwesi-Johnson and Benjamin Zephaniah?
Say that again, please. Didn't quite.
Do you get any inspiration from people like Linton Kwesi-Johnson and
Benjamin Zephaniah? Yeah, I get a lot of inspiration from Linton Kwesi-Johnson and Benjamin Zephaniah in the fact that they were fearless. They spoke their truth and they covered a multiple of creative forms. Benjamin Zephaniah, he's got the books, he's got the short stories, the children's books, and he was a great live musician. There we are.
But you're also broad in your output as novelist, memoirist, poet. How do you see the differences between those forms? So, is your approach to writing poetry different from your approach to writing a novel or memoir?
There is no difference.
Because your poetry is very autobiographical anyway.
There is no difference in my approach. It's basically what story do I want to tell, and then what is the best form to communicate that particular idea. So sometimes I'll try and write from a female voice. Sometimes I try and write from, like my daughter's voice when she was 6. It all depends on what message I'm trying to get across. But everything comes from the same well. So, if I write a lot of poetry, my music output drops off. It all comes from the same place. Anybody else?
Yes, I have a question. This is a bit basic, but I'm just interested in what was the thing that sort of made you start writing poetry? Was it a feeling? Was it something you saw that inspired you?
Well, there's two. Right, how can I put this? Right, what happened? Poetry just happens to be the particular form of communication at this particular moment in time. But I started writing because when I was 16, 17, and I was at college, friend of mine called Kerry Wilson, blonde hair, very, very skinny, and I'd only see him every once in a while, and when I saw him, we'd play chess. I'd just say, hello, how's it going? He'd say, fine, and we'd just get on. And then one day he didn't turn up. And then I said, why? What happened? I said, he's dead. I was like, what? He said he had cystic fibrosis. And this was back in the 80s. They didn't have the treatments they have now. So, and, I went to his funeral, and then his mum gave me a big hug. And she said, because Kerry was in and out of hospital all the time, he made very few friends. I was his best friend because I actually spent the time to talk to him and play chess with him. And so, the family were very embracing of me. And from that moment, I'd always written a lot. Thoughts, actions, what I want to do, everything, every notes, and kept everything, because if just saying hello for, when having a brief conversation can have that impact on somebody who's like, okay, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what's happening in their lives. You don't know your few words, your few lines, your short poem could have an amazing impact on somebody's life. So I didn't actually know that I was his best friend until I went to the funeral. And then the other thing is that, okay, he had cystic fibrosis. He knew he would have known for many years that his life expectancy wasn't going to be all that. You know, at that time, you know, cystic fibrosis, you're out of here, you know, if you make it to, you know, early 20s, you know, you've had a good run. So he knew he was going to have a long life, but still he turned up to college. Still. So that's like, okay, if people are if he's like that, then I have no excuses for, no matter what I've been through, what I'm going to go through, for, you know, putting in the work. Because, you know, I don't know what one word of mine is going to affect somebody's life. I don't know what word of mine can change somebody's day. I don't know what word of mine can change the direction of somebody's life. What word of mine could give somebody that levity, could prevent them from doing something to themselves, or just making their day just like, oh yeah, wow. That's it. Any other questions? No? All right then. Well, that's it. That's the end. Lucy has books of mine to sell. No pressure. They're available on Amazon. They're cheaper here. And I can autograph them here. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can find me online. Type in Dominic Nelson Ashley. There's only one of me. So yeah, and you'll see my face looking like this. It's just the one good shot. Just one great shot. You see it everywhere. It's the same shot. It's the same shot. I've got loads of them. They're all rubbish except for that one. Like, oh, the lighting was fantastic. Use that everywhere.